Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden of Sports podcast. We're your hosts for today, Zach and Jake Gardner.
Hello, hello.
And boy, do we have a hell of a show lined up for today. As you all are aware, if you're still listening at this point, the fantasy hockey playoffs are rolling on. So first of all, congratulations for making it this far. Now, let's push out that dub.
Yeah.
We got surprises of the week, storylines, injury news, slump busters, ice cold, and scoop 'em up. So let's jump into this podcast.
Hell yeah, I'm excited to talk about this, bro.
Hell yeah. So we'll start it off with surprises of the week. My first two are Philip Forsberg and Evander Kane, just kind of tearing up the league this week.
I told you, championship winner.
Yeah, so Forsberg had 4 goals, 4 assists, and 5 power play points this week. And then Evander Kane with 5 goals, but 23 hits. The dude's fucking banging right now. Like he had
writing these lines, or are these just
he had 9 hits in like one game a couple games ago. It was crazy.
Nice.
He's just insane right now. He's giving you stats in like all categories. He's very good at the top of peak.
Yep.
You're getting peak Evander Kane right now. Hopefully he can.
And this could be him moving forward on this team.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
all opened up when you play next to the best player. I mean,
yeah, and he's a good player in his own right. So pairing him with the best player in the league, you're going to get the best out of both of them.
He's like a 5th or 6th round pick next year, right?
Honestly,
if you have some kind of hit point.
He might be a 3rd or 4th man in our league.
Yeah. If you have a hit point, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and the way he plays, he's perfect to play with Connor McDavid. He opens up so much, like hitting that much. If he keeps that up, like he's not going to hit 23 hits every week. That's crazy. He's going to hurt himself. But if he's hitting banging like that, like he opens up ice for Connor McDavid, who doesn't need more ice opened up. Like it's just crazy, man. How well they play together. It's awesome. It's honestly awesome. And I know a lot of people don't like Evander Kane, but like he is a really good player if he can just fucking focus, you know.
Yeah,
and just stay out of trouble. But
yeah, I mean, he had to know that this was his last chance at the league.
I think he kind of did.
He's not that dumb. He knew he had to play all out to prove himself, and now he's staying, dude. Good for him.
Yeah, I think so. And then Kyle Connor just continuing his breakout year. He had 3 goals and 6 assists this week, and he's, I think, now after this week, 3rd in the NHL in points.
Wow, you have him, right?
I do.
No, I was legitimate. I thought you had him. I noticed that he just keeps going off, and he is...
Yeah, it's just not slowing down. I mean, everybody knew that he was like a 40-goal scorer type of guy, but I don't think a lot of people knew how well-rounded of a player he would be, like, just in all facets of the game.
Is he top 5 overall with defensemen, too? I'm going to look. Go ahead, keep going.
I don't know about top 5, but I think he's definitely in the top 10. I just know that he's a right winger, and that position is just stacked. So I think he's like number 3 or 4 in that position.
He's 4th there, but then he's 10th overall in a points league.
But, you know, for like a 3rd or 4th round pick, which he was for me this year, that's pretty fucking awesome.
You know what? Real quick, you know who's number 6?
Yeah, who's that, Jake?
JT Miller.
Yeah, my favorite player. Yeah, I just love me some JT Miller.
Now I feel like you can't say he's bad anymore.
No, actually he's one of my storylines I was going to talk about. Well, not really. Well, mainly surprise. I think surprises more is how he just continues his crazy year, and he's just I don't know why. I don't know what the reasoning is he's just one of those guys I just don't like. I don't know why. But I gotta say, he is a very good player, and I'm not gonna say that he's not gonna go off anymore. But and then we got Brock Nelson. looking pretty dang good now for the Jesus Christ, the Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
He is still their leading goal scorer, I believe, which it's not saying much. The Islanders, I think, have scored the least amount of goals in the league as a team this year. So, but he's their leading scorer, and he's scored a decent amount of goals. He's very fantasy relevant, and he's went off this week with 5 goals, 3 assists, and 2 power play points.
Nice.
And then we got David Perron, another kind of ageless wonder guy. 4 goals and 3 assists and 4 power play points this week. And then, interesting one, definitely one of my bigger surprises, Taylor Raddish. He's now on the Chicago Blackhawks from the Brandon Hagel trade. They got him. He was one of the main guys they got from Tampa. And they're playing him on the top line next to Taves. He has 2 goals, 2 assists, 2 power play points, 13 bangs, and only 4 games. So he's kind of doing it all. He's kind of doing it all in only 4 games so far. But
how old is he?
I don't know, probably like 29, 30. He's a bottom 6 guy. They're giving him ice time for some reason.
Gotcha.
And he's doing really well. This is probably not going to last, but he's looking very good with Taves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Joel Farabi, 2 goals and 4 assists this week. Finally starting to break out of a little slump that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple goalies I want to talk about. We got Logan Thompson, goalie on Vegas. They're playing him. They've played him like every start the last like 2 weeks, and he's looking mighty studly. I just was researching for this episode and saw the numbers this guy was putting up, and he's getting every start. So I obviously had to add him. So, we're definitely going to be talking about Logan Thompson later, but he's looking very good. And then Mikko Koskinen, he sucks, and that's a bit of a surprise because he was doing so good for like the 2 weeks leading up to this week, and then now he's just god awful, just absolute dog shit.
Yeah, so you dropped him.
Yeah, so that was fun. Luckily my forwards really. I've never had a team that's been this loaded at forward. I'm normally like defensive goalies.
Yeah,
my goalies absolutely fucking suck. I just hope that they don't get me fucking like negative points every game, so that like I've never had this bad of goalies. It's really sad, but I mean, I guess goalies aren't that important like I might have thought they were in the past, but I'm just stacked other positions, I guess. But it's just different than what I normally have as my hockey team. And then Jake Allen, he's the leading goalie in my league this week, so kind of a surprise because Montreal's not that great of a team, and he's just looking really good this week. So those are all my surprises. Anything else going on, Jake? Anything surprising you this week? Doesn't even have to be hockey related.
Well, I think you're going to go over my player and your storylines that I was bringing up to you, but yeah. If you want to hit on him.
Yeah, Ben Sherratt, only played 2 games this week, but looking very good for the Panthers. Getting some hits like you would expect, and he did get an assist, so looking very good. That's definitely going to be a good move. He definitely shores up that defense, makes them very scary.
For sure.
And then we'll move on to storylines. The main storyline I got today is we're just going to go over like all the big trades that happened at the trade deadline, because the trade deadline, we talked a little bit about it last Sunday when we recorded, but we still missed like the Sunday night trades and the Monday like early morning, like late morning, early afternoon trades up to the deadline. So we still got a couple to go over. So I just want to go over all these trades.
Okay.
So I got this, follow that link in our little write-up there. And I got this article from Dan Rosen from NHL.com kind of going over all the big trades. So obviously I just want to start right away at the big one. Marc-Andre Fleury to the Minnesota Wild. I think this is a fucking great move. The Wild are definitely a much better team than the Blackhawks right now. Like they have a great defense, and I think their defensive statistics rank them like as the number 1 or number 2 defense in the whole league. Like just system wise, like the amount of big time scoring chances that they give up is very low. Like they make it very easy on their goalies, and I think Marc-Andre Fleury, as still one of the better goalies in the league, is just he's gonna just make them that much better when they're already a very good team. And I think this might be the biggest move of the whole trade deadline. I don't know what you think, Jake.
I mean, yeah, if it makes them a contender. Let me also open up. I feel like I'm missing. I mean, it probably was. That's the biggest one I saw, but I'm also living in the Chicago area, so I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think it's the biggest one because I think that it's definitely going to help the Wild because they have a pretty good team. They have some good forwards.
this goes by time. Oh my god.
Have some really good defensemen.
There's no list in this article of just every move.
Yeah, they're just kind of talking about all the moves. So they're not talking about every single move because there's like a ton of like little. Well, you're not moves.
Are we going through every one of these?
No, just the big ones.
Okay.
Did we talk about Claude Giroux? I can't remember from our episode last week. Was he traded already? I think we did talk about him.
Look at the date. What date do they have it on?
They don't have it on a date on here.
It just says time.
But Claude
March
Giroux's
21st time. So it's March 21st, which the episode we did was March 20th.
Yeah, so
this was after.
So Claude Giroux, another big trade. He went to the Florida Panthers. I feel like we did talk about Claude Giroux. But we'll talk about it again. I mean, I think they're playing him on the top line right now, which is kind of weird. I thought that he would just be second line center, but they're trying a bunch of different things with their new like stud player. So we'll just see where he ends up. But he's obviously going to be getting good time right off the go. And then definitely one that we missed. The New York Rangers traded with the Winnipeg Jets for Andrew Kopp. And it's a hell of a move because Andrew Kopp was doing pretty good on the Winnipeg Jets. He was like their 4th or 5th like leading scorer. He was having a breakout year. He wasn't like breaking out like as like a top player, but he was having a very good year, definitely scoring more than he normally does. Andrew Kopp is normally a guy that like does really good when one of the like top 6 of Winnipeg like gets hurt. He's always the guy that gets bumped up to whatever spot, and then he does great when he's filling that spot. But then when everybody comes back, he goes back down to like third line and doesn't really do too much. But this year, it didn't matter where he was playing; he was doing really good. So this is a really good move for the Rangers. And Andrew Kopp is like a well-rounded player too. He doesn't just shoot. He hits, he blocks, he does everything. So very good move for the Rangers. They get some toughness. And then the Rangers also traded for Tyler Mott from the Vancouver Canucks and defenseman Justin Braun from the Philadelphia Flyers. They just got a ton of bangs with these two guys. And Tyler Mott, he hits a shit ton. That's going to be his main role. But he also, he can shoot the puck a little bit. He can score some goals. He's not going to be like, lighting it up, but he'll be a really fucking great third line player for the Rangers heading into the playoffs. And then Justin Braun, just a super physical defenseman. This guy bangs. And the Rangers, you definitely can tell what they're trying to go for the playoffs, getting toughness with these 3 guys that they traded for. And I think that's just going to help them, like, protect their star players, like the guys to help protect like Artemi Panarin and the smaller guys that are like their leading scorers. You don't want them getting out physicaled. So I think this is a huge move for the Rangers, and I think it's going to help them go far in the playoffs for sure.
For sure.
And then Arturi Lankinen was traded from the Canadiens to the Colorado Avalanche. I think that's not a huge move, but I think it's a very good move. He's a kind of another kind of just all around well-rounded guy. He'll get you some shots. He'll get you a couple goals. He'll get you some hits and blocks and everything. I think it's a nice little move for the Avalanche, that depth move. give them some depth for the playoffs.
For sure.
Yeah. And then the Ducks, they just did like a fire. The Ducks and the Seattle Kraken just did like a fire sale of a bunch of guys. The Ducks traded Rickard Rakell to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's a huge move for the Penguins. Rickard Rakell, now this guy is just what you call a pure goal scorer, and they're going to most likely play him on that second line on Pittsburgh next to Evgeny Malkin, and I think they're going to make some sweet music together. I think that's going to be a very good move. And then they traded defenseman Hampus Lindholm to the Boston Bruins. I think has potential to be a decent move for Boston Bruins. Like Hampus Lindholm, another kind of banger guy. He's not going to get you a ton of points, but he's a very physical defenseman. I remember all those matchups back when the Blackhawks were doing really good and seemed like they were playing the Anaheim Ducks every year. I just remember Hampus Lindholm being a very physical guy. So that'll be a good move for the Boston Bruins. It kind of fits Boston.
For sure.
And then the fucking Seattle Kraken just were like, here, who do you want? Take whoever you want. They traded their captain, Mark Giordano, to the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's a huge move for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Getting a guy like Mark Giordano, who was a captain, now he's like their third defenseman on that team, or second defenseman, depending on they're probably their second defenseman because he's more of an offensive guy. So they're not going to put him with Morgan Riley. So they'll have Giordano as like the second pairing, second PP defenseman. So that'll be very good. Giordano's just experience. He has a ton of playoff experience. He's been around forever. He's going to do nothing but help the Maple Leafs. So I think that's a really underrated move. And then I'm looking through some of these guys. Marcus Johansson, they traded him back to the Washington Capitals. So, that's just kind of a depth move. Marcus Johansson, he was very good, 5-6 years ago. He's just older now, so we'll see if he has anything left in the tank. And then the main one, Kalle Järnkrok, traded to the Calgary Flames, and Kalle Järnkrok's been getting second line time, some power play time. He's been doing pretty good since that trade, so looks like a really good move for Calgary, who is loading up for the playoffs. I didn't think that would be the case this year. I mean, it's the Flames. Mm-hmm. Loading up for the playoffs. It just sounds like a funny sentence to me, but there they are, getting some guys, getting some dudes. Kalle Järnkrok, there you go. Second line center. Hell yeah. Go Calgary. So Seattle making all those trades. They have 25 picks in the next two drafts, and they have 12 in 2022, this upcoming draft. 12 picks. And they have 4 in the second round. So Seattle loading up for definitely going for the future. So, and then I just want to talk about the funny trade that happened and then didn't happen. It got it got vetoed by the league.
I did hear about this one.
Yeah, so the Vegas Golden Knights were trying to do some tomfoolery, some bullshittery with the Anaheim Ducks. They were trading Evgeny Dadonov and a second-round pick in the 2023 or 24 draft to the Ducks for defenseman John Moore, who would not see a lick of ice time, and Ryan Kessler, who is currently on long-term injured reserve. And the only reason they did this is so they could all it was a money dump because they got some injured guys coming back and they got to be under the cap. They got to be like cap compliant heading into the playoffs. So Vegas was trying to do some bullshit so that they could have like all their studs playing, and the league like sniffed it out and didn't allow it. So it was kind of funny. Like if Evgeny Dadonov was like on a plane, I'm just picturing he's on a plane to Anaheim and then he lands and it's just like, oh no, just turn around, go back. You're back with the Knights now. You're no longer he was an Anaheim Duck for like an hour.
Yeah, I mean that's just a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah,
not getting the shit figured out in professional league. I mean,
yeah, it's really funny. And yeah, the Golden Knights, they were just looking for cap flexibility. Moving Dadonov and his $5 million salary cap charge that carries through next season will do it. And then picking up Ryan Kessler, he's owed money still, but since he's on long-term IR, that doesn't count on the cap. So this was basically just a way for Vegas to stop, or for Anaheim to stop having to pay Ryan Kessler when he's not going to play anymore, because they still have to pay Ryan Kessler, it just doesn't count against the cap. And Vegas was like, oh, we'll pay him, we just don't want it to count against the cap. So they were just doing a dump, and luckily the league sniffed it out. It's, you can't do these baseball moves in hockey. So yeah, that was kind of funny. So yeah, and then I would just say, we're gonna wrap this little segment up here. I think that the best move of the trade deadline was Marc-Andre Fleury to the Wild. I'll put it on record. So out of all these trades, Jake, what do you think the best one might be?
I mean, that's the biggest name for me. Yeah. I mean, it has to pan out more. I mean, he has to play well for the
Wild.
Wild.
He's only played one game so far, and he looked very good in it. Got a win, let in a couple goals, but he's still feeling out his team, and they're gonna let him. And it's probably gonna be like a week or two. It's probably gonna be like a week of him feeling out the team, and then he'll get more of the starts, or they just do a 50-50. But even a 50-50 on the Wild, he might get you the same points as he did getting all the starts in Chicago, just because he's not going to be letting in as many goals, and he's going to be getting more wins. So I still like this move as a Marc-Andre Fleury owner, because I still think he'll do the same or better than what he was already doing on a crap team. So,
for sure.
Yeah, so that's the trade deadline. Hell yeah. And then I got one other storyline here. It's just basically just me, old man yells at cloud. Avoid the Oilers goalies like the fucking plague. Play them against low scoring teams only. Even then, watch out. These guys are both kind of Swiss cheese right now. And basically, I just was really mad typing that out because I picked up Koskinen and I was playing him all week, and he just did dog shit for me. So I was just definitely kind of heated when I was talking about that or typing that one out.
Yeah, they do suck. I mean,
just terrible,
there's a reason that Mike Smith fell in the draft anyway. I mean, people kind of knew that there was a high risk. So
yeah. Which is the age, really, I think. And the age is catching up with him. He's just not as fast anymore,
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a shit ton of injuries he's dealing with, too. He's probably not 100% healthy. So it's just, he's given his all, but, it's just what's left in the tank. He might retire after this season.
Yeah,
I was honestly very surprised the Oilers didn't try and trade for a goalie at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they should have tried to get Fleury.
They definitely should have.
What were they doing, bro?
Imagine that. But now we'll move on to injury news and just pull up these injuries here. Just see if there's anything. Adam Henrique, center on the Anaheim Ducks, undisclosed injury, won't play Saturday versus the Sharks, so he didn't play Saturday. And then Jakob Silfverberg, on injured reserve, he won't skate for at least 2 weeks due to a blood clot in his right leg. Oh my gosh. Damn. Crazy. Jacob Chikrin still out. Well, he's day-to-day now on the Coyotes, so maybe he'll be back soon. Yeah, I'm just looking through these injuries. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Arturi Leikkanen is day-to-day on the Avalanche. It's probably just because the trade just happened, so he's,
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have a lot of games this week, the Avalanche, so he's probably just, still getting into town, and he'll be playing probably their next game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen, illness. He's considered day-to-day and could be an option versus Anaheim on Tuesday, so hopefully he is back.
For sure.
And then Jonathan Drouin on the Montreal Canadiens on injured reserve. Drouin is going to seek a second opinion regarding his wrist injury, so probably not coming back anytime soon. And oh my God, Jeff Petrie on the Montreal Canadiens as well is expected to be sidelined long-term due to his lower body injury. That sucks. And then Brendan Gallagher on the Canadiens, he's expected to miss at least a week due to his lower body injury. So I think they're basically their best three players. They're all out, but they're tanking anyway. They're not doing anything this year.
Okay.
New Jersey Devils. John Kuokkanen is on injured reserve. Not going to play Saturday. I don't even think that's a fantasy relevant guy, but there you go. John A. Kuokkanen. For all you guys that own him, all that 0.2% of you that own him.
Yeah.
And then the Philadelphia Flyers, Travis Konechny, day to day. So just be mindful of watching that. Pittsburgh Penguins, Evgeny Malkin, illness. He's considered a game time decision for Sunday's game with Detroit. So maybe he'll be playing today. And then Brock McGinn is day to day for the Penguins as well. Brandon Tanev, he's undergoing ACL surgery. Oh, that happened a long time ago. What am I looking at?
Yeah, just look at the dates.
I did. For some reason, I saw 27th. I didn't see December. Vancouver Canucks, Matthew Highmore is dealing with an upper body injury and will miss Saturday's clash with Dallas. Max Pacioretty suffered a setback at Thursday's morning skate and won't be available in the near future. That's a vote of confidence for Pacioretty. So yeah, that's all your injuries, everybody. Not a ton this week, so kind of a nice week to see not a ton of injuries and not a lot of huge names either. So there you have it.
Nice.
Injury news. So now we'll move on to everybody's favorite
Let's get to the fun stuff.
Get to the fun shit. Slump busters. Just start this out here and just chime in whenever you see fit, Jake. Kevin Hayes. Since returning from injury, he has 12 points in 11 games. He's up to 20 minutes time on ice right now. Looking very good out there. Not doing the normal Kevin Hayes things. So I think he's still kind of getting back, which is still good. He's putting up numbers, but like he normally hits a little bit more. He only has one hit in his last week or two. So, but 12 points in 11 games. He's it's definitely somebody that you want to, definitely makes your eyes open a little bit. Like your eyes pop like, oh shit, he's doing great. And then Jason Robertson, he had a 3-game pointless streak, but since then he has 5 points in 4 games. He's back to his scoring ways. Jason Robertson, he's going to be a fantasy guy that everybody knows here in the not too distant future. He might already be partway there. Very good young player. And then Kyler Yamamoto, he's been in a slump all season. But he has 12 points in his last 9 games. He's just going the fuck off. They're playing him on the top line with Evander, Kane, and Connor McDavid, so he's just kind of getting points just by being there. And it's a good move for Yamamoto because he needed probably some confidence boost. So good for him if he can maintain it. He might be a guy worth considering in fantasy. And then Joel Farabi. After a 3 games pointless streak, he has 9 points in the last 7 games. So he's looking very good for the Oilers. They're kind of looking for him to be that next young stud on the Flyers. So, and then David Pastrnak, after a 3 games pointless streak, he has 5 points in his last 2 games. I'd say he broke out of that little slump, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
5 points in 2 games. That's crazy.
Is he?
But he also is like a top player too, so it's not a super surprise.
Yeah,
like he can do that anytime. But and then lastly on Slump Busters, Josh Morrissey. Like he's not a scoring D man. He's just a physical defensive defenseman. But he has 5 points in his last 6 games. I mean, and he is kind of a highly owned guy, so just go check if he's available. He's scoring right now. Just see if he's available, but he is like 80% owned, so
Yeah, I just checked. He's not available.
Yeah. and so that'll do it for Slump Busters. Now we'll move on to Ice Cold. These guys just can't buy a point lately. Matthew Bartzel, he's like the leading guy on the Islanders. He's like their main big player. He only has 5 points in his last 9 games. That's not too great for him. He's normally a very high scoring guy. So definitely he's ice cold right now. And then Andrew Mangiapane, 1 point in his last 5 games. Definitely in a slump. And then Alex Tuck and Jeff Carter, both of these two have 2 points in their last 6 games. And then Darnell Nurse, you just hate to see it. Such a big name player. Just,
oh my God.
How the mighty have fallen. I mean,
Dude.
how you thought he was just going to be such a stud, and he's got 0 points in 4 games. Perfect
time to be ice cold for me.
Don't look at everything he was doing before this 4-game pointless streak. That is immaterial. He's on a that doesn't help my argument here. No, I'm just kidding. No, but 0 points in his last 4 games. Definitely ice cold right now, Darnell Nurse. And then Garnet Hathaway.
You're missing one too. I got another one for you.
Yeah, okay, put him in.
Well, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, all right. Garnet Hathaway, 1 point in his last 11 games. Definitely very ice cold. And then Alex Iafallo, 3 points in his last 14 games. I mean, that's the biggest slump of them all right here. And all these guys are high owned players. So these guys are like all owned on teams, not doing anything right now.
Yeah, you're going to get hard looking at this one.
Oh, boy. You know. For ice cold, huh?
I'm going to go back 7 games. I'd say it's been 7 games of being ice cold. Devin Taves.
Wow.
He's only got 1 assist in 7 games. No points.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm actually surprised because he was doing so good for so long.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
They're
just going to bump him. He's 4th pairing now.
They're waiting for me to be in the actual playoffs. They know I'm going to buy.
They're waiting until you play me in the championship is what they're waiting for.
They're milking it.
It sucks that you got the 2 seed because I wanted to beat you before the championship so then I could ensure a championship win.
Oh my God.
You're the only one that I'm really worried about. I don't want to say that now that I'm not watching me lose my first round, but you're the one that scares me just because you got just as good a team as me.
No, they're not as good this year. I would need to get some guys on a heater.
Yeah,
for sure. I would need some guys.
I'm just hoping the guys on my team that are on heaters can stay on their heaters. Obviously.
I hope not.
Now we'll move on to scoop them up.
Hell yeah.
So start with some guys that we've been talking about. Kevin Hayes. Go and check. He's very low owned right now just because he's missed the whole year. But he's, like I said, 12 points in his last 11 games. He's over a point per game in that stretch. So I'd be interested in picking him up. And then we got Kyler Yamamoto. Just go check. This guy's very low owned. You'll be able to grab him. And he's playing on that top line, like I said, with Connor McDavid and Evander Kane right now. Who the hell wouldn't want to pick up the guy getting points by proxy? Just by
he's being heavily grabbed right now.
Just by being present. Yeah, a lot of people are grabbing him, so that's bumping up. But just go check. He might be a nice guy worth adding if you have a free spot. And then Joel Farabi, this guy is just going off the last couple of weeks. Go see if he's available. He's a little bit higher owned. He might not be available, but just go check. I think he's when I checked, he's 60% owned or something, maybe a little less. Yeah, those are definitely my 3 4 main forwards that I'd want you guys to grab. And then got a couple goalies to talk about here. Spencer Knight. They're kind of doing a 50-50, maybe even giving him a little bit more time. I think they're resting Sergei Bobrovsky for the playoffs, so they're giving Spencer Knight a little bit more run here. And he's doing really good. He's their main young goalie prospect, so this guy is highly touted. So he's putting up good numbers right now, and they're giving him a little bit more run just to give Bobrovsky some rest. So consider adding Spencer Knight. He might help you on a little playoff run if you have a free goalie spot.
For sure.
And then definitely go scoop up Logan Thompson. He's the goalie for the Vegas Golden Knights right now. He's getting every single start. He's going the fuck off. Go pick this guy up. Guys like this don't come available too often that actually do good on good teams. I thought that was how Laurent Brossoit was going to be for the Vegas Golden Knights a month ago. But Brossoit just was not doing good. So then they bring up this fucking guy out of nowhere and he's just going off. So go pick him up. It might not last, but pick him up. He's doing great right now. And then I want your opinion, Jake, on which one of these 2 Blackhawks goalies since Marc-Andre Fleury's been moved out of town now. Which one of these two goalies do you want to pick up? Because it looks like so far they're doing a 50-50 with Colin Delia and Kevin Lincoln, and both young, good goalie prospects that a lot of people think highly of.
Oh, wow. I see Colin Delia had one good game, but it was against LA, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, yeah, LA's not that good, if I'm not
They're
mistaken.
not. I think Kevin Lincoln is obviously going to be the starter. He was like
I
the
think,
starting goalie
yeah,
like all last year.
yeah, Kevin has proven it. It would just, if he has a bad couple of games, then maybe they just say fuck it, and they give it
Yeah.
to Delia. But I think for now it's Lincoln.
Yeah, I think I agree. But definitely keep your eye on Colin Delia though. He can put up numbers. He can get you a 40 save game in a blink of an eye. So, but
For sure.
Kevin Lincoln I think is the play right now. Go add Kevin Lincoln in if he's available, and you absolutely need a goalie. I mean, it is the Blackhawks we're talking about. You're gonna
Yeah,
get volume. You're gonna get volume stats. They're probably gonna let in some goals. You might not get a lot of wins, but if you're in like a categories league and you just want to win like saves or something, you can maybe consider these guys because they're going to get peppered. These guys get peppered. Let me tell you, they they face a ton of shots for sure. So you're gonna this is like a saves move.
for
So
sure. Yeah, and I had a couple of guys I wanted to talk
yeah.
about.
Okay, so who do you got?
Dylan Strome on the Blackhawks. I really want to grab him right now. 5.1 points per game, like fantasy points in the last 7 days. Yeah, three goals and 3 assists in the last 4 games. So, and like if you just look at his past month, it's been really, really good. Like going off, I think this could
Yeah, I was
be
just about to say the last month has been really good too.
it could be rest of season. I'm trying to make room to grab him right now, but
Yeah, that'd
I
be a
feel like
great
he's a
ad.
must grab player. Could be a
No,
winner,
yeah,
a league winner.
he is a must grab player right now. I like Dylan Strome a lot. I forgot to write him down. He was definitely on my list.
No,
That's
no worries. There's a lot
a
of guys
great
here.
move.
Dadnov. I want to talk about him because he is a star from the past. He hasn't been as good the past 2 years, but if you look at his 2 games or last 4 games he's played, 5 goals in those 4 games. So
Jesus.
and 3 assists.
Yeah.
So he's going off for the Vegas Knights right now. Yeah, one of the goals was actually in Lincoln in an OT, but
Yeah.
against Chicago. But still, I don't know. I mean, maybe he could just have a month of what do you call it? Renaissance month of play.
Yeah, because I remember he was like very fantasy relevant like 3 years ago. He was like a very good player.
Well, yeah, he was a high, like not this year, but the year before, he was a pretty high draft pick. It's like fifth
Yeah, but
round.
maybe it was 2 years ago that he had like a breakout year.
Well,
But
no,
yeah,
he was a high draft pick, and then that's when he fell off. Was last year, not this year.
right. That's why
Yeah,
I'm thinking about the year before, like 3 years
yeah,
ago.
3 years ago is when he would have
It
still been
was
good.
it was great. Yeah.
But maybe he'll
So
find that rhythm again. I don't know.
yeah,
So,
maybe he's
but
doing pretty good.
I wouldn't put him above Strome. Um,
No, I
and
wouldn't either.
then Vince Dunn, I wanted to talk about him because
Yeah.
he was like the Blues' pretty highly touted defenseman a year ago, right?
Hmm.
And now he's in the Kraken. You just said the Kraken traded away a lot of players, so does that make room
Yeah.
for Vince Dunn
Yes,
to break out here? I mean,
it
he had
does.
a good couple games so far. I
It
mean,
definitely does. His ice time jumped up a shit ton since the trades. If you look at the games on the 22nd and the 26th, he had his first game as the number one defenseman after moving out Mark Giordano, 25 minutes time on ice, and then the game after that, 22 and a half minutes time on ice. When he was time on ice average was like, yeah, jumped up. It's jumped up almost 4 minutes. His season average was 20 minutes, and it's over the last 7 days, it's 24 minutes. So he's getting the top line, top power play, everything. So definitely a guy worth considering for sure.
for sure, yeah. And that's why those are my players. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple more, but I thought those guys really stood out. I really want Strome, but I have like no room. So I feel kind of screwed here. Anyway.
There's got to be somebody you can drop on your team, on that crap team you got.
Well, I'm thinking about...
Drop Devin Taves. He sucks.
No, I'm thinking about dropping Jacob Vrana, the Detroit forward. I mean...
Oh, okay.
He's being dropped, and I think I can see why. Like, he literally has to score a goal for him to be relevant, and he still has low minutes. I thought they would increase his minutes, and they haven't.
Right.
He's still at, like, 14, and, like, when you're in playoff fantasy, like, you're not waiting for a guy to... I mean, you're not waiting on the coaching staff. You need guys who are playing now.
Right.
So I think I'm dropping him, but I have to move 2 IR guys who are healthy now back to active. So I'd have to drop 2 guys and drop another guy to get Strome.
Jeez.
So I was thinking maybe Troy Terry, even though he was a breakout this year, he's having...
He was a guy I was going to put on ice cold, but I just ended up not. But yeah, he's very...
I don't know. I feel like I
cold,
shouldn't...
like the last month.
Yeah, he's been pretty... I mean, his average has come way down on the year. He used to be like 3.2. Now he looks like an average player right now, not a breakout player. It's like the first half of the season was when he broke out, but now it's just... Yeah. I don't know, man. But I don't know who else I would drop, so... Because Romanov's doing good. Ben Sherratt is doing good, starting on that team.
Yep.
And then I don't want to drop really good players who are ice cold.
True.
So,
but, you just gotta...
pickle.
Yeah, just gotta, trust your gut, man.
Yeah, well, you want me to drop Troy Terry.
I'm not gonna pick up Troy Terry.
Yeah, right.
Never think about it, but...
Yeah, hilarious.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for us, everybody. Unless you got anything else.
No, yeah, I'm good.
All right,
the championship.
Yeah, I'll see you then, man.
Well, that's in a month. Well, we still.
That's a month away. Yeah,
we'll both be in the semis starting next week.
Starting, yeah.
No,
next...
oh no, 2 weeks.
Yeah, starting after this week.
Yeah. Wow, we got a long way to go.
It's really weird, man. My opponent right now he's not putting any guys in his lineup. It's very, very strange.
Oh my god.
And with that, we will wrap. Thank you all so much for listening. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you get updates on all our new videos dropping. Usually on Sunday and Monday of every week, we got our episodes dropping. So get those notifications if you want. And then we also got our social media. Go give us a follow. We got Instagram, instagram.com/Garden of Sports. We have Facebook, facebook.com/Garden of Sports Podcast. And we have Twitter, twitter.com/GOSPod2021. Hell yeah, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Hell yeah. Thank you, everyone.